Now that Steve Rogers has been pulled into a seemingly eternal battle between the forces of life and death, will the Star-Spangled Man help turn the tide? Well, let's hop into the pages of Captain America issue number 8 and find out what happens next together, shall we? So then, picking up directly from where the last issue left off, Steve had been ushered away by a mysterious otherworldly being named Lyra to an alternate dimension called the Pale City. Lyra herself was actually pretty vague about what she was. Maybe she was a god or an angel, but this issue, an embodiment of life itself. So yeah, she's kind of a big deal, and it's understandable why she's asked Captain America right here, right now, to fight alongside her to defend a mystical, magical nexus point called the Front Door, home to a series of otherworldly refugees who are on the run from Lyra's brother, the embodiment of death. In the last issue, we learned that Lyra and her brother were actually once residents of the Pale City before its ultimate destruction, and now the undead armies that are assailing her and Cap are actually people that she once knew, friends, family, even lovers turned to the dark side. Luckily, being chosen as Lyra's champion means that Captain America is imbued with a series of brand new magical powers, including a crystal shield that whizzes around the battlefield, and is able to return to him as if by magic itself. But more importantly than anything though, the crystal shield actually allows him to look upon Lyra's brother, a being of pure evil and death, hereby known as Abaddon. Which, of course, if you know your Bible, literally is Hebrew for destruction and doom. It's also another name for the Angel of the Abyss. So yeah, also an equally pretty serious dude. Now, what is set up here is ultimately a pretty simple battle between the forces of good and evil, end up taking some rather unexpected twists when Abaddon says that Steve isn't actually Lyra's first champion in this type of battle. They've apparently been doing this same song and dance since the beginning of existence itself, and every time Lyra picked a new champion, the champion didn't survive. In fact, it seems like the only reason Lyra and the Front Door have actually managed to survive this long is by being able to postpone the ultimate final battle itself. Essentially, the only reason Lyra has been able to stave off Armageddon this whole time has been by postponing the final battle, and I mean, it does make a kind of sense when you are fighting a war between life and death. Survival is victory. Steve also begins to question too the magical crystal shield he's been given. He thought it was supposed to protect him from going mad when looking upon the face of death incarnate, but what happens when you look at life incarnate? Well, the answer is you see an incredibly powerful blinding light that even brings Steve Rogers to his knees and allows Abaddon to get the upper hand during the fight. Though as we discover, this ultimately wasn't the real Abaddon, just one of his many aspects, and once we figure that out, Lyra is able to push him back and in doing so win the fight. Well, not win it, just postpone it again. Steve, because he is such a good, moral, and upstanding dude, isn't even mad. In fact, when Lyra offers to use her amazing power to heal him from the fight, Steve refuses, instead saying she should use that power to try and bring back some of the other Front Door people, including that nice butterfly lady from the last issue from the brink of death, which she does. In the end, all Cap really ended up suffering was a hand wound, but get this, you see, when he was fighting Abaddon, Abaddon used his powers of death to actually show Steve the very moment when he's supposed to die. And wouldn't you know it, in that vision, his same injured hand ends up acting up. Lyra says that she has cured the hand and it will be fine for the rest of his days and only should start acting up when he knows he's about to die. Implying that vision wasn't some sort of dirty trick, but actually is the future unless Cap tries to stop it. Don't worry though, Lyra says she has a plan for that. She says that all of these different refugees she's been collecting from other worlds that her brother destroys and keeping safe at the Front Door are actually much like Steve himself, agents of change. The only problem is her collection isn't complete, and she herself can't actually force people to come and join her, much like she couldn't force Steve to come and attend a show last issue. For what it's worth though, Steve does ultimately agree to try and help her, though again, how pressing this actually is kind of up in the air, because as the comic comes to a close, Steve just kind of rides off into the sunset on his motorcycle, heavily implying that this was just a weird little two-and-done story. And so that was Captain America issue number 8, everyone, and overall this was kind of a weird one. Don't get me wrong, I certainly enjoyed how outside the box and creative it was, though I have to give credit to a fan who commented on the last video when he said this whole Steve Rogers dealing with angels and demons and the end of the world stuff felt a lot more like Captain Britain than Captain America, and yeah, I can't actually shake that feeling myself either. I do ultimately appreciate what Straczynski is trying to say with this story, and that is that Captain America is just such a good, honest, heartfelt dude that, yeah, the powers that be that protect life in the universe would reach out to him before someone like Thor or Spider-Man. Because in a world of gods and monsters and all-powerful cosmic beings, Captain America fights just for the preservation of life more than anything else. Beyond that, though, despite building up this big battle between life and death as this huge climactic thing, the battle itself was ultimately over pretty damn quick and decisively. It does seem like this storyline is going to continue, and the next issue says it will find Cap traveling the world to try and find the other 6 major agents of change to try and stave off the apocalypse. And by extension, his own impending death, meaning that maybe Straczynski really did kind of foreshadow everything that's going to be happening in the next couple arcs. Overall, though, I think I'd give this one a 7.5 out of 10. It's certainly creative, it's certainly strange, but I know a lot of people probably aren't going to jive with the whole Neil Gaiman-ness of it all. But I'm also not ready to give up on this story or this run just yet. I will be interested to see where Straczynski goes from here in the next issue. Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.